Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Went 3-3 last night, but we finished in the green. We finished plus 0.06 units. So basically a break-even night. We move on to tonight. There are 8 games, but a lot of injury question marks. Not a ton of value, but still, let's get into it.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Source. Hey, get the Source.
First up, Milwaukee Bucks on the road in Orlando. This is a 7 p.m. tip. Total set at 233.5, and this line opened up Orlando plus 7.5. Line actually drops down to 7, and that's where it still is right now. Public's actually on the Magic here. Public on the Magic and some sharp money in on the Magic. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet, and according to the model, the line for this game should be Orlando plus 7.92. So maybe a very slight lean on the Bucks. So the Milwaukee Bucks have actually looked beatable 2 games in a row now. First, they take a tough loss to the Sixers, and props to Philly for coming back and winning at the end. And then they played the Wizards, and they ended up winning and covering that game, but that was a 2-point game with 1.5 minutes to go. Now add on the fact that Jrue Holiday is questionable. This actually might be a decent spot to fade the Bucks. Orlando's 15-9 against the spread on the season as home underdogs. The problem with that is, okay, Jrue Holiday is questionable, but on the Magic side, Gary Harris and Wendell Carter are also questionable. I'm not as worried about Gary Harris because Orlando can easily just throw Jalen Suggs for extra minutes at the 2. But if Wendell Carter doesn't play, I don't see how I can bet the Magic here. So I can't give out a bet for this one yet. I'm leaning Bucks, and I will say if Jrue Holiday plays, I probably will bet Milwaukee, but I will tweet a bet out for this one, and I'll remember this time. I forgot yesterday. I'll tweet a bet out for this one later next game.
Update. Jrue Holiday ruled out, and Giannis is ruled out. I didn't even think that was a possibility. He was listed as probable. So both Holiday and Giannis out. They haven't even opened the line back up, so I'll update you guys on Twitter on this one. I can't give a pick out right now.
Wizards at Pistons. I'm just going to skip this one because check this out. Kyle Kuzma's questionable, right? Monte Morris doubtful for Washington. Check out the Detroit side. Killian Hayes, Bogdanovich, Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and James Wiseman all questionable. That's 4 out of their 5 starters and their 6 man, all questionable. I would lean laying the points with Washington, but I'm not even going to waste my time with a game with this many moving pieces. Let's move on. Next game.
Update. So got some final injury reports here for Detroit. Bogdanovich out. Alec Burks out. Hamidou Diallo out. Jalen Duren out. Killian Hayes out. Isaiah Stewart out. This line is now up to 9. Yeah, I'm skipping this game. I'm not betting this bullshit. Next game.
Charlotte Hornets are in Madison Square Garden tonight to play the Red Hot Knicks. 7:30 p.m. start. Total set at 226, and this line opened up Knicks -9. Line ends up getting as high as Knicks -10.5. Public's all over the Knicks. The New York Knicks are the second most public play on the board tonight. Line actually drops a point, though. We're now looking at Knicks -9.5. Let's take a quick look at our spreadsheet, and according to the model, the line for this game should be Knicks -19.58. So a 10-point lean on New York. Now, normally I would say take the Hornets plus the points without a doubt, no hesitation. Knicks are hot right now. Back at home where they haven't played as well. This is the spot where they blow it. But this Knicks team is just way different than any Knicks team I've seen over the course of the years being a Knicks fan. Even the Knicks 2 years ago when they got hot, that team was way different. They were winning games based off their defense. The Knicks are winning games with their offense right now. In the last month, the Knicks are second in the NBA in offensive efficiency, just 11th in defensive efficiency. But do not sleep on this Charlotte team defensively. Yes, they lose a lot of games. Yes, their offense is absolutely dreadful. But in the last month, this team is 6th in defensive efficiency. What do I always say? Defense travels. Combine that with the fact that, like I said, the Knicks haven't been great at home all year. Yeah, they've won 6 straight at home. But even after that win streak, they're still just 15-16 against the spread at home. So this is what I'm going to do for this one. Jalen Brunson is questionable for the Knicks. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Brunson's questionable. If Jalen Brunson doesn't play, I'm going to split my money in half, and I'm going to take Charlotte plus 9.5. I'm going to take the under at 226. If Jalen Brunson does play, I'm probably just going to pass on the game because this Knicks team with that offense, they have the capabilities of blowing out bad teams. We've seen it. So I will pass if Brunson plays, but if he doesn't, Hornets plus 9.5 and under. Next game. Philly on the road in Minnesota for a 7:30 p.m. start. Total set at 229.5, and this line opened up Minnesota plus 2.5. This line has moved 5 whole points since it opened last night. We're now looking at Minnesota minus 2.5. Does that mean Embiid's going to rest? It is Philly's 3rd road game in 4 nights. we'll have to wait and see on that. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Minnesota minus 2.1. So basically no lean at all there. So the T-Wolves returning home from a 4-game road trip where they played great. Yeah, they blew the lead and lost to Golden State in the first game of the road trip, but then they followed it up with 3 solid wins against solid Western Conference opponents. They picked up wins at Clippers, at Lakers, at Kings. 3 huge wins for a team shuffling for playoff position in the Western Conference, and now they have climbed out of the play-in tournament. They're sitting in the 6th seed. Now they return home, but they've had 2 full days rest, so that kind of eliminates the faded team when they return from a road trip trend thing. That's more when a team gets home and then has to play immediately. Schedule-wise, it's actually a pretty solid spot for the Timberwolves. Philly, not so much. This is a terrible spot for them. This is their 5th game of a road trip, their 3rd road game in 4 nights, like I said, and they've been everywhere. They're in Miami, Dallas, Milwaukee, Indiana, now Minnesota. They've been all over the country. Like I said earlier, normally this is a spot where Embiid would rest, but he has played 3 games in 4 days twice so far this season, so he has done it. I'm not saying he's definitely going to rest. I'm saying we definitely have to keep an eye on him. PJ Tucker and Tobias Harris, both questionable again. Both did not play last night, and they were definitely missed. Philly ended up getting the win, but defensively, they had no answers for the Pacers on offense. Pacers shot 59% from the floor and over 40% from 3 against Philly last night. If Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker play, and Embiid, obviously, if those 3 guys play, I definitely like Philly a lot. It might be one of my favorite bets of the night, with Boston losing 3 in a row. All of a sudden, that 2 seed is realistic for the Sixers. And we're talking about a Philadelphia team that has a curse. They just can't get out of the second round of the playoffs. The 2 seed would give them home court advantage in that second round. Trust me, they want that shit. So I'm going to roll with the Sixers if Embiid plays. Now, here's how I'm going to play it. I'm going to say this is a half-unit bet. If one of PJ Tucker and Tobias Harris, if one of those guys plays, I'm going to add 0.25 units to make it a 0.75 unit bet. If both play, it'll be a full unit bet. Next game.
Update, add James Harden to the list. He's now listed as questionable. When I recorded that, he was not listed as questionable. He is now, so maybe he's the one sitting. Again, I like Philly, but I need these guys to play. There's too many unknowns, so we're going to have to just put this one on hold for a minute.
Golden State on the road in OKC. This is an 8 p.m. tip. Totals all the way up at 242.5. And this line opened up OKC plus 3.5. Public is absolutely all over Golden State here, and the line responds. It moves up to 4. We're now looking at OKC plus 4.5. Let's take a quick look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Oklahoma City plus 2.78. So about a 1.5 lean on the Thunder. Well, we need to start by taking note that this Golden State Warriors team completely owns the Oklahoma City Thunder franchise. They've beaten them 8 straight times by an average margin of 21.25. They don't just beat the Thunder, they beat the shit out of the Thunder. But I will say this is a very nice looking spot for Oklahoma City. 1 day rest without a travel. They were home the other night. SGA is back in the lineup. He came back the other night against Utah. Thunder looked great. They blew them out. They ended up only winning by like 11, but they dominated that game. And Golden State is straight up embarrassing on the road. The Warriors are just 7-24 on the road this year. 7-24. Only the Houston Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs have worse records on the road than the Warriors. And that's straight up. Against the spread, it's even worse. Golden State's just 8-22 against the spread this season on the road. That's the worst in the NBA by far. They're 0-6 straight up in their last 6 on the road. 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. But here's the kicker. You want to know the last time Golden State won a game on the road? Yep, at Oklahoma City, January 30th. I'm telling you, if there's a slump breaker that exists in the world for the Golden State Warriors, it's the OKC team because they own them. I know this is a square pick. I know I'm siding with the heavy public here, but I backed OKC in that January 30th game, and I felt stupid as hell about it. Not making that same mistake again. Give me Golden State minus 4.5 next game.
Almost forgot, Prop Beaver has a prop he wants to give for this one. Go ahead, speak into the mic.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Draymond Green over 14.5 rebounds plus assists, and Tyus Jones over 1.5 steals. Both are
Dude,
bangers.
we're not on that game. We're on the Warriors game. We'll get to that one. Dude, get your own show.
Brooklyn's on the road in Houston to play the Rockets. This is an 8 p.m. start. Total set at 230, and this line opened up Houston plus 8.5. Look at all this sharp money in on the Houston Rockets. Sharps are loving the Rockets tonight, and the books respond to it pretty heavily, actually. It drops 2.5 points. We're now looking at Houston plus 6. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Houston minus 8.3, so a huge lean on the Rockets. But again, when it comes to to the Rockets, disregard my model because I weight mine heavily towards rebounds, and Houston is weirdly the best rebounding team in the league. And on that same subject, I probably should mention that the Brooklyn Nets are the worst rebounding team in the league. This is literally first versus 30th in rebound percentage. But matchup-wise, that's kind of where it ends for Houston. Everything else I looked at points towards Brooklyn here. The Nets' strength defensively is protecting the basket. They're 11th over the last month in protecting the basket. Houston, first over the last month in shot frequency at the rim. Nobody takes shots at the rim more often than the Houston Rockets. So basically, the Rockets offense plays right into the strength of the Nets defense. And then on the other side of the ball, let's talk about the Nets offense. We know what they do. They're a three-point shooting team. They're 6th in the NBA in three-point frequency over the last month. This team launches a lot of threes. How are the Rockets at defending the three? You guessed it, absolutely terrible. 29th in the NBA over the last month. Houston may be able to beat the Spurs back-to-back, and props to the Rockets. They really did look pretty solid in both those games, but it's the Spurs. They're terrible. Brooklyn's not a good team, but when it comes to the Rockets and the Spurs, they're a solid step up. I know the line movement here indicates that they're trying to draw money in on Brooklyn, so maybe I'm a sucker for this, but I'm fading all that sharp money. I'm laying the points here. Give me Brooklyn -6 next game. Utah on the road in Dallas. This is an 8:30 p.m. start. Total set at 237.5, and this line opened up Dallas -5.5. Another line that's been on the move. This one moved 3.5 points. We're now looking at Mavs -9. Public slightly leaning Dallas. Sharp money definitely all over Dallas. So let's take a look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Dallas -4.84. So we're looking about a 4.5 point lean on Utah. The Dallas Mavericks have been absolutely awful in this spot all season. They're just 5-21-2 against the spread when favored by 5 or more points, and 0-2 against the spread in this same spot, 5 or more point favorites since Kyrie joined the team. Since Kyrie joined the Mavs, they're just 4-6 as a team, and of those 4 wins, only 1 has come by double digits. The thing with Utah is at first glance, you're like, oh, this team sucks on the road. They're just 11-21 on the road. I was guilty of that also. But if you take a closer look, the Jazz are actually 17-14-1 against the spread on the road, which is 7th best in the NBA. So yeah, they lose basketball games on the road, but they cover the number at a pretty solid rate. Walker Kessler is now questionable for the Jazz. That's new. That just got announced about 20 minutes ago. That hurts. I was definitely leaning Utah, and I still am, but Walker Kessler's been so good protecting the basket for the Jazz this year. But still, the fact remains that Jordan Clarkson's healthy, Lauri Markkanen also healthy. So I'm still in the Jazz. I'm still taking the points. Give me Utah +9. If Walker Kessler plays, this will probably be a top bet tonight. If he doesn't, I'm still in the Jazz, just won't be as heavy. Next game.
Another update. Jordan Clarkson is now questionable. Jesus, this NBA day is a nightmare. I hate putting out a YouTube video with so many, like, I'll tell you laters, but I don't know how I'm supposed to handicap the games if I don't know who's playing. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm sorry. I like the Jazz, obviously, but I need Clarkson out there.
Memphis on the road in LA to play the Lakers. 10 p.m. start. This total set at 225.5, and this line opened up Lakers -1.5. Public is all over LA here. Remember earlier I said the Knicks were the second most public play on the board. Lakers, most public play on the board. Line gets as high as 2, but it actually drops a point. We're now down to Lakers -1. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be LA -3.5, so we're looking at a 2.5 point lean on the Lakers. Now, normally I'd be blindly taking Memphis without Ja Morant. Most people don't know this, but the Memphis Grizzlies have a significantly better winning percentage without Ja Morant than with him. He's got to be the only superstar in NBA history that makes his team significantly worse. Last season, Memphis went 20-5 without Morant in the lineup. He doesn't play the other night, and what do you know? Memphis almost beats the Clips in LA. They lost, but they did cover. I'm a little worried about this one right now, though, because the Lakers are playing live basketball right now. They're playing with a lot of energy, especially on the defensive end. In the last month, the Lakers are 4th in the NBA in defensive efficiency. All of a sudden, this team can play some D. And if that doesn't scare you enough, D'Angelo Russell upgraded to questionable. He may return to the Lakers lineup tonight. If he plays, that scares me even more. But this same exact thing happened last year. Ja Morant misses games. Public rushes to the other side, thinking Memphis is going to be worse. And analytically, they play much better. So I'm on the Grizzlies here. This would be a 2-unit bet if Steven Adams was playing. I would love it if Steven Adams was playing, but Steven Adams, unfortunately, is still out for the Grizzlies. I still like Memphis a lot, though. Give me Memphis +1. If anything changes with these bets, I will let you know on Twitter, so give me a follow there if you're interested. Also, if you're looking for the final ticket, which has my top bets, parlay of the day, that kind of stuff, head over to KyleKirms.com or download the Sauce Network app. NBA Tuesday, we're coming off back-to-back winning days, even though yesterday was very slightly winning, still a winning day. Let's make it 3 in a row. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on Twitter.